When I was younger, well, not even that much. Well, I guess a fair bit younger. About 5 years ago, around the pandemic, actually. Um, I was in a I was in a bad spot. I was in a not great state of mind, and that is when I found myself watching the anime Welcome to the NHK. Um, and in a lot of ways, that anime actually helped with my depression and how I was feeling about certain things. Um, and it was an anime that kind of helped me through that time. But part of the reason it helped me through that time, um, is it was a piece of art that was sort of communicating to me, because that anime has characters dealing with depression and things like that. So it was communicating to me that, like, hey, other people understand this well enough to be able to portray it in this incredible artistic show, And so, one thing I remember thinking to myself when I watched that show is, wow, I find Sato kind of relatable. And then I thought, oh no, I find Sato kind of relatable. Because if you haven't watched Welcome to the NHK, I mean, obviously I already mentioned he deals with depression and things like that. But the main character, Sato, one of the main plot points of the show is that he is what you call a hikikomori. And he is also a NEET, which, usually if you're one, you're going to be the other, but not necessarily always. For anyone who doesn't know, a hikikomori is basically a person who almost never leaves their house except when they absolutely have to get certain supplies that they need, like food and things they need for basic living. But beyond that, they usually never leave their house, usually out of anxiety or something similar. And a NEET is just anyone who is not in school or in education. And I was watching this at the time, and at the time I was in school, so I couldn't say I was a hikikomori or a NEET. But I very much I looked at Sato and I related to him, and and I had the thought, like, oh no, I think I am in danger of becoming Sato. Like, because I relate to this character, I'm scared of becoming more like him. Sorry, I just gotta move something on my desk here. At that point, I started trying to take more steps to because I figured, one of the main problems Sato has is just very, very, very extreme social anxiety. And I had a fair bit of social anxiety. So I would try to, I after watching the show, I tried to make a effort to, reach out and reconnect with some old friends and try to make sure every once in a while I went out and I actually did stuff with other people, and just tried to work a lot on my social skills, which, I'd already been trying to do for a while, because ever since, I would say ever since I was like ever since elementary school, I've known that I naturally don't have great social skills, and so it's something I've had to consistently work on, and that I think I've gotten a lot better than I used to be with. I still wish I could be better in a lot of ways, but I'm better with it than I was. Today I was watching this YouTube channel, and I had a similar scary realization. There's this small YouTube channel that I don't watch that many of their videos. I only watch the odd video here and there, honestly, but it's basically this person who is themselves was a hikikomori. I don't know if they still consider themselves a hikikomori or a NEET, but they were, when they started their channel, they were basically a hikikomori. And they make these little vlogs. The channel is called Osaka Syndrome. And I think I largely started watching them out of curiosity many, many, many years ago, because of a video they did talking about Digibro, who I used to be a big fan of, and how they related to Digibro, and of course, I related to a lot of that as well. So, I saw that video first, and every once in a while, I've checked in on their channel since, and just seen what kind of videos they're posting. But in one video of theirs I was listening to today, near the end of their video, they said, if you watch my channel, you're probably a NEET. They said this in there's a lot more context to the video, but as soon as they said that, I thought to myself, it made me ask myself, like, wait a minute, am I? And technically, no, I am not a NEET. I am in a college program. I'm working on stuff. I go out and do things, but I also, in some ways at least, I am probably as close to a NEET as you can be without technically being one. Which is to say that I don't know. I realize that I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, basically. I don't know what I'm doing. Because the first college program I was in, it had to do with like computers and making software and stuff like that, and I was interested in that. But I also found it so stressful to, like, with the deadlines and everything. I had a realization that, like, I would not, I don't think I can do anything like this as a job, because the stress will tear me apart. Getting burnt out on that is part of what had caused the depression I was talking about earlier. So I had that realization, but I finished it anyway. I got the piece of paper that says I know how to do cool computer stuff. But I'm not, instead of doing something with that, I basically went into another program, because at the time I didn't know what I wanted to do for a job, and I was at the time on a medication that was going to be very expensive if I didn't have insurance for it, And so insurance would not cover it without me being, or me doing, something. So I went back to, I started doing something else that I'm not, it's not something I find absolutely no interest in, but it's not something I'm super interested in either. If I'm being vague, I'm sorry. I maybe am sometimes a little overcautious with how many details I give about my personal life, but I prefer to be at least a little bit cautious that way. But so I'm doing this other program that I don't know if I'm going to do anything with this either, really. And so I kind of don't have much of an idea of what I'm doing or where I'm going. I kind of just, I've been learning tons of new skills. In my spare time, I've been learning more stuff about computers that interests me. So it's not like I'm doing nothing, but I have no idea, I have no idea where I'm going. And that is something that worries me a bit, because it's when I looked at Satou 5 years ago, I was like, well, I sure as hell don't want to be like that guy. So I'm gonna I'm gonna do what I can to avoid turning into that guy. And in a lot of ways, I think I was successful, but in a lot of ways, I'm realizing that, like, I maybe am not successful in all the ways that I should be. Yeah, so I don't know. That's just something that's been bothering me a lot, and it's something I've been thinking about and stressing about, and that stress, in addition to some other things I might talk about in another video, has been making it harder for me to concentrate on, making videos for the channel as well, which sucks, because I do want to continue making videos. I just the problem I'm having right now, this is kind of a different train of thought, but this is a rambling video, whatever. The problem I'm having right now is I keep having ideas for videos, but then I'm starting them, and when I finish them, I'm like, I don't think this is that good, and that I don't want to release it. The amount of videos I've actually made, I have written scripts for probably like at least 10 times the amount that I've actually made, and just 90% of the scripts I just look at and I'm like, nah, this isn't good enough. And I'm still struggling with that, and I think I might make a separate video kind of talking about that more, but yeah, I don't know. This is just a rambling video, more so to myself than anything else, but I might upload it anyway. Yeah, just getting stuff off my chest. Maybe some people can relate. That's it. That's the thing. That's the video. Bye.